Hey everybody, I hope everybody had a great Monday, that you're having a good evening. So, look, you guys know that I don't really go live like this. That's kind of not my thing. Like when I go live, it's a very carefully curated type of event. Like I already know I'm going live, but this is a live on the spur of the moment type. Yeah, it's a live on the spur of the moment type thing because I had something that I just wanted to get out there like really quickly, and it didn't seem like one of those things. Well, I guess I could make a whole video around it, but it really didn't seem like one of those things to make a whole video around. So I was just moved to just go ahead and pop on here really quickly. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Priestess Athena. I'm just like your modern day best friend, Priestess Bestie. And I've studied energy work. Ooh, sorry. Energy work, metaphysical, I don't know, a whole bunch of stuff. The occult, okay? I'm an occultist. So I've studied like all of those things for like the past like 15 years or so. And so now what I'm doing is just taking all of those, some of the things that I've learned, and I'm just sharing them with you. So I was doing a little bit of research earlier. I was doing a little bit of research earlier, and I was actually researching for the video topic for this week. And so I use a lot of different tools when I do my research, and I try to look for things that people have questions to, or sometimes I'll research a topic because it's something that someone has actually asked me, or it'll come from like a group from like the real life group that I have that we host, our Star Shifter group that I host once a month locally. So I'll draw inspiration from that, or sometimes it'll just be something that I think like, hey, this would be like a good idea, or something that I want to speak on. But today I was just sitting there like going through some material, and I was looking on manifestations, and so I was like, okay, well, what else could I say, because it's just like, ugh, manifestation, blah, 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 blah. But it's still the thing that people have the most questions about. And I was like, okay, fine, I'll just, do something. And I was like, well, how can I make this different? How can I not make it different, but how can I give some material that maybe isn't always seen or given? And oh my gosh, the glare is like getting on my last nerves because I don't usually wear my glasses. I told you this was completely just like, oh my goodness, this was completely just like, I was just like, no, I'm just gonna pop on the camera. Danny Moon, this is for you, okay? She tells me, she's like, stop being so perfect, just get out there and do it. And so here I am, just out here in the wind doing it. But anyway, back to what I was saying, because this is it. This is really important, and I know it's really important because I tried to talk myself out of it, and I was like, okay, I'll just make a longer video, right? I'll make a longer video, and I'll do it that way, carefully curated. Like, I'll get up first thing in the morning, and I'll do the video then when I've had time to go through it and know exactly what it is I'm going to say. And so then I had some dinner, and it was still bugging me, and I was like, okay, fine, I'm just going to do it. So that's where we are. So as I was saying, as I was putting together the information and doing some research on the 5 ingredients for manifesting, I was like, okay, how can I make this different? Da, da, da. And I was like, oh, I know what people don't usually talk about. So I was like, oh, well, you know what? This kind of ties in with a little bit of timeline therapy, which I'm certified in. So I was like, well, let me get up and go flip through my old manual, and go flip through my old textbook and see, what I can extract from there and apply it to the 5 ingredients of manifesting, and just give you guys some additional information. And just as I was about to do that, my phone rung, and it was one of my old mentors. And this, not just one of my old mentors, but, someone, someone who had trained me, right? And so on this particular technique, on timeline therapy, that was crazy. And so we're having a good like little discussion one night, and he's telling me about some of the additional training that he's doing, and I'm over there geeking out because the two of us, like, we love to learn things, like, just for our own self-edification. Love learning things. And so he's telling me about this new training that he's doing, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this correlates to this, and this correlates to that. And so he's a very neurotypical, very much grounded here in the earth, and very much doing things where it's of the you do A, and then you do B, and then you do C, and that's great, because that makes learning from him a very calculated process, and so you always know what you're getting. And so he talks a lot about mindset, and so he was telling me about this one thing. I was like, oh my gosh. And then what I would do is I would just add an angel to that, because there's an angel for everything. But that's still not where I'm going with this. So anyway, we talked about that, and then I was telling him, I said, this is confirmation, this is crazy, and this goes back to the universal mind, right? We're all one. We're all interconnected. These synchronicities that we have, we should really follow up on them. So this is me taking my own advice and following up on that synchronicity, even though it's a little bit uncomfortable and this wasn't planned. But so I was like, it's so interesting, because right before you call, I was like, I gotta go find my old manual, and I need to look up some things from the timeline therapy so that I can extract some of that information and make it relevant to this video that I'm getting ready to script and then write. And so he does manifestation, but he doesn't really do it in the same way that I do, right? And so I was like, okay. So I was telling him, about the video and everything, and he was like, oh yeah, And so we had a really good conversation about that, and I was like, yeah, I said, that's just so crazy that you called me right when I was getting ready to go look that manual up. And so and then I got sidetracked, and I talked to a friend, and I don't know. But anyway, the thing is this. That was a whole lot of backstory. But this is what I wanted to say. What I wanted to say was, one, yes, there is universal mind. So those synchronicities that you get, you need to act on them. And you need to act on them right then, right? Because the universe rewards constant movement. If you think about it, we're the law of rhythm. We're all in a state of constant flow. Nothing is ever sitting still. Even though it looks like we're sitting still, we're all moving in regular, I hate to say regular science. I don't know. What do you call it? Science? Regular science? I don't know. Whatever. But science has proven that, right? That we're all moving. See, this is why I don't like to do lives, just lives, without knowing what I'm going to say, because then I don't have anything to reference. Anyway, but yes, we're all moving and bumping into each other and whatnot, those cells and whatnot. So nothing is ever actually staying still. So when you use that forward momentum, you're going closer to your actual dream. And then the other thing that I wanted to say, and this might not seem connected, but it is connected, because I don't remember why, but it was something I was talking about to my friend, like, right before, and I got, like, all this information just like, whoosh. We see each other at the way people see you, and the way you see people. We see each other at the level of awareness that we're currently at, the level of consciousness that we are currently on. Okay, so that person, when they see you, you are either mirroring something in them that either they feel like they like about themselves or need to work on, or they are seeing you as the being that you truly are, or the potential that you could be. Okay, so I guess that's like 3 different ways that people could see you. But what I'm saying is, sometimes you will meet people, and we are spiritual beings living a human experience. Just because we are continuing making sure that we are putting ourselves in spiritual alignment, and just because we are studying spirituality and manifesting and making sure that we are here to what's the word I want to say? But we're spiritual beings living a human experience. So that's not to say that we're not going to be devoid of the troubles and the challenges that come with the human experience, right? So sometimes you might be going through a dark moment. Some people like to call it the dark night of the soul, but I think that gets really, really overused. Sometimes you simply may have just made a wrong choice, made a wrong turn, and now it's taking you longer to get back to your intended path. Okay? So yes, you can make wrong choices, and people like to say, oh, well, everything happens for a reason. Yes, it does, and sometimes the reason is you stupid. You made a wrong choice. You shouldn't have did that, and now you over here, stuck, done broke down on the side of the road in the wrong town, okay, and you ain't pay your AAA. And so now you have to figure out how to get out the wrong side of town. But because you were over here where you shouldn't have been in the first place because you made a decision that you shouldn't have made, but it's okay. It's a learning experience, right? But you're going to learn. Oh, you're going to learn today. Okay? So now you're stuck in this neighborhood that you normally wouldn't have been in had you have been vibrating up here where you were supposed to, or had you have been listening to your spirit guides, your intuition, your ancestors, and doing the things that you were supposed to and making the decisions that you were supposed to, instead of you being over here where you're supposed to be in the gated community, you over here broke down on the side of the road, okay, and you're like, oh my goodness, what am I doing over here? How am I get from out of here? Meanwhile, while you're over there, the people who live there, because that's the state of consciousness and that's the level of awareness that they are currently in, not saying that there is anything wrong with that, because we are constantly going through the levels of consciousness all the time, okay? It's not a straight line. Sometimes things happen and we're down here and then we go up here, but once you know where to go, you can get yourself from here to here when you know the way. So you realize that you broke down over there. Is this showing? I'm sorry, y'all. I don't mean to. But you realize you broke down over there. The people who live there can only see you as someone who's supposed to be over there. They don't know that you live or actually meant for somewhere else. They don't know that you made a wrong turn, because that is their everyday current state of reality. That is their everyday current state of consciousness, and that is where they stay, and that is the only way that they can look at you, because they don't know any other way to look at you, because they do not have the tools to look at you any differently. Your job is when you do make those wrong turns, okay, is to identify it as quickly as possible, and then to get the hell out of Dodge. But in the meantime, and in between time, while you're waiting on your car to get fixed, you need to not let the people in that neighborhood try to convince you that that's where you're supposed to stay. And that's why sometimes we get stuck somewhere, where we're not supposed to be, but why we get stuck there. We all gonna make mistakes. We all gonna do stuff we know we ain't got no business doing. We all gonna be like, well, you know what? I could do this. No, you can't. But you did. And now here you are. You knew better and you chose worse. And now here you are off in the wrong neighborhood with the ghouls and whatnot. And like, they coming to get you, right? And they trying to convince you that that's where you are. And that is not where you are. Okay? That's where you just happen to break down. But if you break down, you can get up. And I just want you to remember that just because you are somewhere where you're like, man, I never saw my life turning like this before, or I never thought I would be here, or I thought I would be so much further, just because that's where you are right now doesn't mean that's where you got to stay. So, stop listening to these people who don't have any other reference point, and go ahead and pick up the phone and call for help and get out of there. Just because you made a wrong turn doesn't mean that you are not loved. Just because you made a decision that wasn't in your highest good, wasn't in your best interest, doesn't mean that you can't make a different decision right now. Not tomorrow, not later, right now. Right now. You can make a different decision right now. What is the do right now to turn that situation around. Because you don't have to stay there. Just because your car broke down in a bad neighborhood don't mean you live here. If your car, think about it. If you're driving somewhere and your car, damn, I'm sorry. If you're driving somewhere and your car break down, do you be like, oh, I guess I live here now? No, you don't. Where you trying to go? Home. Get your ass home. Get out of that rank, nasty ass neighborhood where you don't belong. Stop letting them tell you that that's all you good for and bring your ass home. That's what I wanted to say. Bring your ass home. You don't live there. You just broke down there because you took the wrong turn. That don't mean nothing. You still got a home to go home to. Okay? So, whew. Sorry. I was wowzers. Look, I really had to get that out. I don't know why. I hope that this helps somebody. Hell, it helped me a little bit. Because sometimes I forget. You know what I mean? You get stuck in that mindset and you start reminiscing over and over. Like, why did I do this? Who cares? It's done. Forgive yourself and move on. And think about the one next thing that you need to do. And stop listening to those people who can't help you. They can't help you push the car. They ain't got AAA. Okay? They can't help you. All they can do is give you what they got, and what they got ain't what you need to get to where you going. So why are you listening to them? Don't do that anymore. Me too. Don't do that no more. Remember who you are and act accordingly. You have a home to go home to. So remember that. Thank you all so much. I don't think I'm going to be doing this again anytime soon, but thank you all so much. And we do have a YouTube channel, Your North Node, over there on YouTube, where I do much more carefully curated content. And yeah, I will talk to you guys later. If you're a local star shifter, then our next meeting is Sunday, November 17th at 3 p.m. I'm super excited about that. It's all about gratitude. And this month, I haven't put it up yet, but I will eventually, I think. I mean, the month is still young. But it's all about the beauty of gratitude. So I'm going to be putting up some things for that. I haven't figured out how I want to put the challenge together yet. I know I want to do it as a challenge, but I haven't quite figured out all the details yet. But hopefully it'll come to me since I'm feeling so inspired right now. Okay, guys, thank you all so much. And until next time, peace between us. Okay, how do I make this stop? Stop. There we go.